Welcome to week 5. This week we will cover chapter 4 of the textbook. We started the class with chapter 1 with an overview of computer networks. We saw that there are two perspectives of the internet. One perspective of the internet is that it provides an infrastructure and support for applications. This is the view we studied in chapters 2 and 3. In chapter 2, we studied the application layer and how it works with 5 different applications. In chapter 3, we looked at the transport layer, whose role is providing communication services to the application processes running on different hosts. During the last week, we examined the first half of the chapter on security, covering the topics of cryptography, message integrity, digital signatures, and authentication. So now we're beginning the last half of the class, where we turn our attention to the second perspective of the internet, the nuts and bolts details. During the next 2 weeks, we will delve into the network layer. This is the network's core. The network's layer's job appears simple. Just move the packets from the sending host to the receiving host. But this layer is probably the most complex of the entire protocol stack. To do this work, the network layer can be decomposed into 2 interacting functions: forwarding and routing. This week, we'll examine the data plane. Next week in chapter 5, we'll continue our study of the network layer by looking at the control plane details, including routing protocols and routing algorithms. After these next 2 weeks, we'll be in the home stretch, and we'll cover the link layer and the last half of the security in computer networks. What are our goals for this week? We will first gain an understanding of the differences between the forwarding and routing functions. We will look inside the router and examine the methods and technologies used to get the packets flowing through the network. We will examine the IP4 packet formats, as well as network addressing. Then we will be introduced to generalized forwarding, a new paradigm of network layer implementation, where the data plane, the control plane functions are implemented in separate systems. This is called software-defined networking. We will also look at how IP version 6 differs from IP version 4. Finally, we'll examine 2 protocols used in network addressing, DHCP and NAT. Just a few more comments about this chapter and the next. First, in the videos, I refer to IP datagrams and packets interchangeably, probably using the term packets more frequently. This is the term I've used throughout my career. There is some inconsistencies in the industry on how we refer to those network layer protocol data units. However, the textbook is very consistent in using the term IP datagrams. We will try to be consistent using this term in all the quizzes and tests. In case you have problems understanding material, we have provided a number of worksheets as well as supplemental video links in Canvas. Finally, I'd like to reiterate what the deliverables are for this week. Read chapter 4 and view the section videos. You'll have the usual chapter quiz, chapter problem set, as well as your weekly journal entry. This week, you'll have 2 labs to complete: the Mininet NAT lab and the Mininet DHCP lab. Finally, you'll be submitting programming assignment number 3. For extra credit, Lab 6A-EC is due at the end of this week. Another extra credit lab is available this week. Lab 12-EC Buffer Bloat. This lab is due at the end of week 6. Even if you do not want to do this lab, I recommend that you read the background paragraph. You may find it's interesting and applicable to your home network. Thanks, and welcome to the second half of the course.